Daniel Day. I'm almost as old as the elephant, or it's the dinosaur. The dinosaur. I've been here in this kind of business since 1976. 15 years of groceries, and the rest of the time we're closed. I believe my happiest time, my truly happiest time, are my grocery times, where I used to stay open in the summer, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. They have free music in the park, Thomas Jefferson Park, to 3 in the morning. People drinking their beer, smoking their reefer, but never a fight. Never a fight, a shooting, or people acting a fool. It was the time this whole neighborhood was a family. Today, that's gone. And sadly missed. That's
Life.
my
It's your life. Whatever you want to share.
that's my school, Benjamin Franklin. I graduated in 71. I must have been doing something right for bringing them that coffee, their Crickets cigars, and their famous cold soda, Manhattan Special coffee soda. To the point where when fools attempted to move on me with that Negro treatment, Goodfellas said, shut it down and keep it moving. Other than that,
Hi, Danny.
hey,
How are you?
okay, how are we doing?
What's orange to the list? Like hands.
Well, yeah, I used to give dances at a place called Bitches and Bums on 123rd and 3rd, featuring a group called TKA and some other little group. But it seemed that the crew that I had working with me was stealing too much money. It was no longer worth it. People who worked the bar were stealing, the people at the door were stealing. I got tired. I must have given maybe 6 to 8 dances, but I left that. And the famous night spot I used to go to after hours was not American Club, wasn't a modern Latino club. It was one of those clubs that played old time, what do you call it? Hebrew music. That Hebrew music helped to protect the patrons of this club because once the young fools came around and heard that Hebrew hillbilly music, they kept it going and taking their nonsense with them. What I mean by protection and no fighting, no stabbing, no shooting, no people getting nuts. It was a form of protection going to after hour clubs where this type of music was being played. Other than that, I believe it's a waste of the people's energy to invest their time and their effort in voting for either one of the criminal organizations called the Democrats or Republican, which is not the party of the common man. These are parties owned by corporations and foreign policies. They do not make laws to protect and uplift the people. If China can lift 800 million people out of poverty to the point there's no homelessness, you're going to tell me that being a Democrat or Republican is supposed to make a difference? They don't make a difference. They do not serve the people. No matter who you put in there. Why was Gaddafi killed? He was killed because he wanted to change to a gold standard of currency, where America's currency is based on oil, meaning that any nations that wanted to buy oil had to take their dollar and change it for American dollars. Huh? And if you notice, a lot of countries, Brazil, some parts in Africa, some places in the Middle East, Gaddafi was killed for that reason, for the gold. And if you notice, a lot of countries are moving away from the paper dollar because it's backed by nothing but military might. If you don't go along, you run the risk of being destroyed. South America, made up of 31 nations. 31 nations. Out of that 31 nations, more than half is moving towards China and Russia. Russia is trying to develop the same program that China has, where you go into a country, you don't go in there with that military bullshit. Listen to, I was doing some research, and it seems like your country needs someone to help them build some new electric plants. Yeah. Oil refinery. Yeah. Russians go, we're going to do it like China do. You got resources of nickel, of chromium. Okay. You don't have to pay in dollars. We could pay an even swap. As the deal goes, not like the fucking Americans, where they don't want to pay you jack shit. They just take your shit outright. Take your shit. We'll go 30 for us, 70 for you. And China has taken a step further in Namibia, where you got the cobalt and you got the nickel. What we're gonna do with you? You're not gonna take your raw material and ship it to China, re-refine it and ship it back to you. No, them days is done. That's how Europe did shit. Those days are done. Here's the deal. We're gonna build the smelting plant right here in Namibia. You no longer have to ship it to China to get it refined, or Europe to get it refined. You refine it right there in your country, and when you ship it out to the world, or other parts of Africa, it's shipped out as a refined and ready to go product that was produced in your country. Huh? Hershey's catching a fit that now if you buy Hershey candy, you know about that. It's bullshit. Made with oil. Bullshit. Have you heard about that? Bullshit. Counterfeit candy. Why? I'd rather sell bullshit counterfeit candy than give them a bunch of goddamn Coca-Colas a shot. Because they were buying the cocoa beans, shipping it refining it and making cocoa. Now the Nigerians say, no, 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 no. They were shipping that shit to Sweden too, and Norway and all that bullshit. But the people in Nigeria say, what? We're gonna refine the shit here. We're gonna refine it here. So when you buy a candy bar, you got refined and made in because for too many years, what were we doing in Africa and in South America? Forget the South America. What we're doing for too many years, we was just shipping out the raw material. And then the raw material is made into goods and then shipped back to us and charged a higher price. Not even a break-even price. Because that was being shipped out was being underpaid for. I'm not even going to give you 10, if I can help it, you'll be lucky, motherfucker, if I give you 10 cents on the dollar. Shut your mouth and don't make no problem. I tell you what, I think what's the English? Yeah, when they first took over Saudi Arabia, when oil was first discovered in Saudi Arabia, this silly motherfucker called we call a big shot in the Emirate, something like a prince. The English said to him, since we're investing with the tools and all that shit, we can go 50-50. They bought his dumbass for, I think, $1 million in gold. So you're looking at that gold, man. Yeah. Well, you got to remember, $1 million back then is easily multiplied by 10. Easily multiplied by 10. Okay? Today's even more, but say 10. 50,000 was equal to what? Almost $500,000. How much was fucking gas? Gas was under 30 cents. It was under 35 the most. It wasn't even 40 fucking cents a gallon. I don't know if you remember. I'm not getting off the thing about what Russia's trying to do. They're trying to follow in the same footprints of China in terms of gaining access to the world. Even the fucking Canadians are going, well, you know, for 60 years, they've been fucking over those people in Cuba. 60 years. Robbing them blind. Now they want to turn off the light fish switch permanently. 60 years, you got this shit in your heart. And now we come to realize it don't matter what fucking label a person have. Communism, Democrat, or what, that shit don't mean nothing. The only thing good about communism is they keep the landlord in check. It's not like this one landlord owns 41 buildings. How many buildings can you sleep in? How many places of food can you have? How many pair of pants can you wear? See? In China, they ain't having it. They ain't having it. There's no motherfucker coming in there going, you know, I'm going to make me an empire. I think I'll buy me some 40, 50 buildings. No, you're not allowed to do that shit and become a little king. Become a little king now. You go, you know, I need a zoning pass so I can up the rent on these motherfuckers. The representative of the zone, I'll give them 100,000. Sign the bill for the rent increase. If the authorities catch wind of it, both are dead. Both are dead. The giver of the bribe and the receiver. Both are dead within 72 hours. America must get to the point where the capitalist world and the corporate world has no seat or representatives, okay, in the government. They got a complaint, they take it to a committee that don't share any seat of communication in a sense with the ruling party. Because they allow the corporations to enter. Bribery is one of the key, bribery and government theft is one of the key reasons for the destruction of many a nation. Many a nation. Huh? French Revolution. What was it? Bread, liberty, and something else. It was three. Bread, liberty, and land was the cause of what? Revolution. Russia. Bread, liberty, and land. China. The failure of the government to protect its people after that human, no, I shouldn't even use the word garbage, as those insects born of the devil that came out of Europe, England, France, the Dutch, the Russians for a moment, the Americans. They all moved on China as if it was a big cake to be munched. And when the Chinese rose up to bring an end to this bullshit, what was the bullshit argument? The Americans, the Dutch, the English, Teddy Roosevelt, I think his people had a piece of the Opium War. The king, the queen, she was the queen at the time. A woman was the queen of China at the time. She got upset over this shit. So she appointed a minister to go to the ports and dump all that bullshit overboard. It was over 1,000 pounds, way over 1,000 pounds of opium was thrown overboard because the opium had the same effect as crack had on the black community. Huh? So they fought the first opium war. Then they turned around and had a second opium war. How are you going to say all these people, nations that came out of here, the Germans, the French, the English, the, the Japanese, and the Americans, how are you going to tell me that you're a Christian nation? Think about it. We all seen firsthand what crack did. Destroyed whole nations. Destroyed even movie stars. It destroyed the mayor of DC. Do you remember his name? He was a black mayor. Crack destroyed him. Huh? And even people we love very much, based on that song, I Will Always Love You. Don't mention her name, because love that I felt for her, once you heard her song, cannot be taken from her. The most highest of the divas, who sang so well, she would put the best white opera singer to shame. Love her. I will always love you. You know that? When you say that and you think of her, you can almost feel a tear coming in your eye. You gotta hold it back. Okay, we've seen this kind of destruction and other destruction. And amongst our young men, gold chain, $500 coat, $100+ pants. That's when Adidas were king. Slinging goes slinging what? Crack. Back in the day, you had to rent the block. You went to sell on a certain block, you paid $200. That got you, say, 12 or 14 hours to sling on that block. If you didn't pay, you could die. That's how bad it was. It got so bad that I, as a grown up, you would not catch me on the street after 9 o'clock. Only one time in my life, though. I think it was a sad day. And sad day is usually my rum and reefer day or my rum and cigarette day and two movies in house. So I got to a point in my life where I want to smoke the reefer, I want a pure high. I can either have water or Pepsi. I chose Pepsi. But what I had to do, I had to open the door, go around the corner, get the Pepsi, and hope I didn't get shot around. But I wasn't going out for to get some reefer or look for a sweet mama. That was on speed call. I just wanted to watch two movies, chill back, smoke the joint, and drink some Pepsi. That way I can feel the full effect of the reefer without blending the alcohol in it. Hmm? Well, anyway, even the Canadians are going, this is fucking shit, it's ridiculous. 60 years of this bullshit. But we gotta remember, the Cubans, for whatever they had great shit. Great shit. They was exporting what? Not oil or raw minerals. Doctors. Their doctors are held unto such a high fucking esteem. If you want to make a medical university in, say, Africa, or Saudi Arabia, or what do you call it, South America, what was Venezuela trading that oil for? Doctors. Doctors. Venezuela go, we want to make a medical university, but we can't go to the Americans. We can't go to the Chinese because then the Americans might get upset. Well, we go to the Cubans. And they pay the Cubans with what? Oil. We can't trust Americans to come in here, right? We can't trust Americans to come in here and run our university because what? You will run into a shit full of goddamn spies who, in drop a hat, American might say, we want to put this plot together in the next 60, 90 days, or we're gonna ask them to leave and put our flunky in. If you don't, you guys in the medical university, you know what to do. You know what to do. How you gonna have a rattlesnake involved in the university, spreading all this poison, hypnotizing those people, turn against the government? Okay. What I mean by hypnotizing those people and poisoning them against the people. What was his name? His country, like Libya, Colonel Gaddafi. When you got married, the government gave you $5,000 or more to get your life started in a wedding. And if you're born a child, you got 50,000 to start your life. No homelessness, No living for the fucking landlord. You got sick and you needed a hernia operation. But our doctors don't know how to do that. Uh, we can either send you to France or England. That's right. Paid for by the government. Education. They had one of the highest literacy rates of all of Africa. Second place was Iran. Who brought water to the desert? From Libya. Gaddafi brought water to the desert. Like the Chinese are doing their thing now, brought water to the desert. Different parts of Libya where there was no water. What happened was it took a handful of me people to sell them out. And that's the same thing that happened in Venezuela. A handful of people. Uh, the Russians and the Chinese, there are 54 African nations. When America says, yeah, we want to come and do business with you, the Africans go, oh my God, oh my God, I hope these motherfuckers don't threaten me to kill my, oh my God. And they running.
All right, man. Listen, we at Mr. Dan's store, man. You get some candy here. You know what I'm saying? We got shirts, we got tees, all sizes, graphic tees, whatever you into. You know what I'm saying? We got water, soda. You know what I mean? Look at his prices, man. Y'all playing. You know what I'm saying? We got all type of products. We got jacket. If you know what I mean, get ready for winter because it's coming. You know what I'm saying? We got, Malcolm X up here. So if you're in a resolution, let's do it. We got dashikis every color. Look at these prices. It's crazy. Look at this. Look, look at the jackets. Now, I mean, this fire. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Look at, we got sheepskin. We got all type of fabrics here. Matter of fact, come in, Craig. Come in. You're not gonna miss this lesson. Back to the interview, man.
It's not where corporations ain't running shit. They're not allowed to put their hands in administrating offices of the government. Where here, they can put their hands in administrating running of the government, the mayor,
Later, Dan.
okay, all these other government entities. They're not allowed to put their hands in the print, your newspapers, your TVs. Because then if they are, you run the risk of them, we want to get rid of this government and we got our hands in the newsprint, in the print, and the TV news station are, we can formulate the people to turn on themselves and to forget the fact that the government, that's a marvelous job, they did. It's no fucking homeland. 800 million. Can you imagine that? But we want to burn this motherfucker down and bring in the corporations. Corporations for who? Here in America. Here in America. You got three human beings? I got to think about that. You got three kind of people. Is that the right word? Homo sapiens. I think that's a better word. Leaves room for doubt. Who have more money than 170 million people. More money than 170 million people. Three people What you call is up there, and they're a trillionaire now, right? Don't mention the name of God's worst accident. I don't know. I think by the time God was creating him, I think he has some problems with his hemorrhoids. That's part of the asshole, isn't it? I think he ate some bad shit and it fucked up his hemorrhoids. But he still took a shit call. What's his name? Uh, it was the first trillionaire. Well, we all know who the human slaves of garbage is. Imagine. You think the people in China would go for that? They burned down the motherfucking government house and execute that motherfucker. What in the world are you? What you gonna do with that? The Chinese would have took that shit and say, Nanking needs to be brought into the 22nd century. The government go, One of the reasons that the people of South America and Africa are moving to the Russians and the Chinese. One of them is that these people, the Russians and the Chinese, did not participate in the bullshit of colonizing other countries. The Russians were too busy trying to hold down Eastern Europe. Okay? It was too busy trying to hold that together that they had no time to deal in slavery and the rest of that nonsense and the killing of the Indians. The Chinese thought they were the center of the world. When a nation says, I am the center, I am the center, all the world revolves around us. China at the time was the number one producer. India held 24% of the world market. Remember that shit? China with the silks and the silver this and the silver that. Even the fucking kings of Rome did business with what? China. Okay, one of the reasons that the Rome and the Greeks didn't fuck with them was because they was far advanced to the point where they had rocket launchers. They come to the battlefield with goddamn rocket launchers. This is back in the day. Okay. The Japanese were considered a psychopathic motherfucking lot of people. It's that samurai shit. The Koreans, for more than maybe 12, 6, 7. Who was the great king who had all those statues built? No, of China. Well, anyway, China was on an expansion trip at one time, and they fucked around and invaded Korea. Okay, and got their ass whipped. It's like that guy's big and he's bad. He could probably fuck me up badly, but if I give him a fight so goddamn bad, he will never want to fuck with me again. He may win, but he got all kinds of cuts all over his ass and it's missing a ball. And the people of Vietnam were the same way. Okay? They were fighting off motherfuckers. People of Vietnam put one on the Japanese, on the Chinese. They left, hey, Korea, hey, good, we good, we good. So back to South America. What the people can thank the American government for is invading their nation. By them invading um, Venezuela and let nations of South America know. Panama been invaded 2, 3 times. Oh yeah, we give you back your liberation on one condition: you allow our CIA to pass 100,000 guns, rifles. So what's that? Not Honduras. What's that nation they was fighting at one time? They was using the money that from the guns that was passing through Venezuela.
Talking about
What?
with the show.
The Conquistador? No,
Oh,
no,
you talking about with that show? You know that show that's on right now that's based off Frank Lucas,
no,
the
no.
Contra War or something.
Yeah, Contra.
Yeah, that's the Frank Lucas selling
Yeah, yeah.
for the
The
CIA.
Contra War. Okay. When President of Panama said, no, 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 we can't do this. Because just as easy as you have these guns pass through my nation, you can get upset with me, turn those same guns on me. So how did they set them up? The deal was for every key that passes through, you get $1,000. He never touched the shit, never directed, well, send 100 keys over here, send 50 keys. He never touched it. He was told, well, 500 keys are passing through. That means they gave him $500,000 to let it go unquestioned. You know what that coke went to? It went to our neighborhoods and turned into crack. Colonel North was behind that bullshit, the Contra War. And when he said, no mas, they didn't kill him, they kidnapped him, and he's in prison for working their fucking operation. But overall, the South American nations are like this. They are, even the Mexicans, like that. Honduras, 6 times invaded. Fucking Honduras. You know how the blacks got to Honduras? In Jamaica, they were whooping the white boys' ass. You heard of the what you call those people from the mountain? Jamaicans, the Moors, not Moors, Maroons, in the Blue Mountains.
Wait.
Hmm. In the Blue Mountains, where the coffee comes, that was Maroon territory, right? So, yeah, okay. So the uh, oh, shit. Uh, here, take 3, no cambio, no cambio. I'll see you later. Take 3. Yeah, yeah.
What?
Anybody get their hands cooking the cooking job? You know that thing about the 72 hours? I think 36 is enough. And then we Okay? Yeah, no problem. This fresh pack, just open. Uh-huh. Uh, uh. Right, 72 hours. And that is one of the things that makes China great. Because there was some fool who was running IBM or something. He got his multi-millions, say, billions. He got his multi-billions. Yet he thought that having those billions gave him the right to open his mouth. You know, the government ain't no good here. They're a bunch of fucking clowns here. They don't do this, they don't do that. What are you talking about? Just fantasize in your head 800 million. No homelessness. No worrying about your next fucking dollar for your plate of food. No landlord. When you buy an apartment in China, it's yours. There's no taxes. Well, here in America, you can buy an apartment, but you got to pay the tax. Even the home you buy, one thing good about some parts of Africa, the home you buy in Africa is yours free and clear to be passed down to your family members forever and ever and ever and ever and a day. And one thing they have, no corporations can come in there like there's a flood in Texas. Uh, 300 houses got flooded. There's a flood in Mississippi. 500 houses got flooded. Corporations will come in, you know about that, right? And buy up those $300. And they'll go to Virginia, where there's a natural flood or something, and buy up the remaining houses. Fix them up and turn them into what? Rentals. Not homes to buy, but rentals. Meaning what? When a young man wants to buy a house for his family, there are none on the market because of the corporation. What's that mean? Turn white folk they don't get it, but it's to turn white folk and black folk into sharecroppers. When you're paying rent, you're a sharecropper. Where's the congressman? Where's the senator? Where's the governor? They just recently tried to put a stop to it. Sometime last week or 2 weeks ago, they put a stop to it. But they slowly realized that this kind of behavior can produce a Russian Revolution here, a French Revolution here. What was most of the revolutions in South America about? Landlords fucking with people. The Mexican Revolution, not with American, the Mexican Revolution. Every revolution, look for the cause. And at the base of it, you'll find it's about landlords. Russian, French, all those revolutions and shit that was taking place in South America. It was also about liberation from the English. From the Portuguese. It was about liberation from the Spanish. All of it. After slavery, Bolivia. Damn, what the fuck are these cocolos doing here? God damn, how the fuck? Remember, wherever the Spanish went, They took what with them? Their slave. What was the silver? There was one city that produced so much silver for the Spanish that they destroyed the silver market. There was one of the Latin American countries that produced so much silver that it destabilized the silver market. Okay, it destabilized. Okay, so wherever they went, they brought their slaves because the spirit of the slave, because of his melanin, which absorbs sun and energy, he came with a more stronger spirit. The spirit of Indians, why they couldn't cage them and enslave them. If you got a sparrow and you put him in a cage, he would go catatonic, freeze up, and die. Not for physical wounds placed on him, but he would die because his spirit is automatically so free that the size of this park is too small for his spirit. He would need the space from east to west of Manhattan, north and south, because the spirit is so free. You can't take his spirit and cage it. And this is one of the things that killed Indians. Huh? And another sick fucking thing that they did to the Mexicans were the Mexicans was used as dog food. There was one story of two girls, two kids, traveling down the road, and they came across two conquistadors. And the conquistadors stopped them, and one said to the other, $1 gets you 10 if you could take his head off with one swipe. Conquistador said, no problem. You say $1, get me 10, here's my dollar. Give me my fucking $10. Huh? This is the kind of savagery they came with. Yet they came with a blessed man of God who came with them with the first fucking ship. God, make me want to take my Christianity, and I'll be arrested if I say what I feel. And why no one should be a Christian. One of the first American slave ships was called what? Jesus Christ. How the hell are they going to use his name? Matter of fact, Jesus never existed, if you really look at it. Huh? And the people who practice this nonsense, how can you say, I'm a representative of God on earth? Yet he made the deal with the Portuguese and the Spanish because they were starting to kill each other over riches. Well, the Pope said, listen, you two dumb motherfuckers. Here's what we're going to do. You got to remember, the Pope is no more than the emperor, the new emperor of Rome. And this shit of calling him a man of God, that's just a front. So he blessed it. Portuguese get this part, and the Spanish get that part. Huh? Both savages doing savage shit. Blessed by the Pope. You ever heard this thing about the balls? Something about the
All right, man. Listen, we at Mr. Dan's store, man. You get some candy here. You know what I'm saying? We got shirts. We got tees, all sizes, graphic tees, whatever you into. You know what I'm saying? We got water, soda. You know what I mean? Look at its prices, man. Y'all playing. You know what I'm saying? We got all type of products. We got jacket. If you know what I mean, get ready for winter because it's coming. You know what I'm saying? We got, Malcolm X up here. So if you're in a resolution, let's do it. We got dashikis every color. Look at these prices, it's crazy. Look at this. Look, look at the jackets. Now I mean, this fire. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Look at we got sheepskin. We got all type of fabrics here. Matter of fact, come in, Craig. Come in. You're not gonna miss this lesson. Back to the interview, man.
The Maroons were whipping the English ass. Came to the understanding, look, that mountain and everything beyond that mountain, that's you. Just don't fucking make war on us no more. And the deal was, you got to take some of your people and we're going to send their black ass to Honduras. And that's how you got ex-slaves in Honduras. They're free. And then have to worry about fighting the English. So that's how you got blacks in Honduras. Forget about the people of Venezuela. They're the ones that get sanctuary to the Nazis. And how did they eliminate their black population of free black people? In World War I, they put them in the front lines of all the fighting. Okay, thank you. Okay, gracias. Dollar tip on a $5 deal. That's my relationship. You come in, you feel, that's my relationship. Well, what was about the Honduras? Oh, not only did they mess over the people of Honduras, how they got, once again, how they got rid of their black people, they put them in the front line of the war to destroy them. And those that survived, especially the women, it made them interbreed with the white Honduras. And that's how you got mulatto. Once you get to the point of mulatto, right, you can get to the 16th or the 32 uh, level of whiteness. The ones we say can pass for white. Huh? So Colombia, they fuck with those people. How many of the how many out of the 31 South Americans did they mess with? Out of the 31 countries? More than 12, more than 14? How many times have they invaded certain countries? You know, they invaded Mexico at one time after the theft of the Pancho Villa. Huh? So they kind of feel that these are the motherfuckers that call themselves Democrats, upholders of freedom and liberty, yet they're acting in a way that almost can put Christopher Columbus and these other criminals in places of power. In other words, breathe new life into the dead. Yeah, you want? No, I'm good. I got here. uh, they didn't, and even the people in Brazil, which are on a level. of production where they can manufacture jet passenger plane. Huh? For a bunch of motherfuckers that were running around with llamas, picking coconuts and plant those, huh? So they can manufacture a plane. If you can manufacture a plane, jet planes with nations from aboard, put in fucking orders to have passenger jet planes built. If you could do that, you can do what? Electric car. Huh? If you can do electric cars and airplanes, you can do what? Computers. What they're waking up to is you're no longer going to come in here and steal our resources, turn around, make goods, and sell it back. No, our resources stay here unless we have a deal of a 70-30. The 70-30 is you bring the motherfucking equipment, and when the goods are made, you get your 30%. That's how you avoid that colonial bullshit. Saudi Arabia, they were supposed to go this 50-50 in business. It should have been 51 for the Saudi Arabians. That way they have the edge a little bit. It was supposed to be, the English wanted to give them 50-50. And the level of wisdom is 14%. That's like saying, you speak like a wise man 50-50. I trust you, my white brother. He was supposed to say, I'm a man of God. I can't do this. I can't do this. There's a very least we can go. Everybody's fair. We bring in equipment, then we go 70 for you and 30 for me. When the English left or were kicked the fuck out, did they leave anything developed? An airport, a railroad, any of this nonsense? They left no development. They left no development because they left no development. They left the nation to fend for its own. Now, the English did do one thing that was cool. They went to India, which controlled 24% of world production. The English did not build roads or beautiful buildings. They built it for the administrating English, the homes, the streets, the railroad was not built for the common man. The homes, the streets, and the railroad was the railroads go direct to the mine, get them goods, and ship them to the sea. And 17 something, 1742, 1748, the English went in and what did they do? How did they conquer? There are four kings. One, two, three, four. We call this four. And this five broke up in little kingdoms. Same thing that China suffered from. Listen, you're still using bows and arrows and these weapons that shoot one shot. Listen, that guy over there, you said he's taking the 20% of your shit. You blood kings? That don't matter. You want his shit, don't you? Hmm. He's using one shots and bows and arrows. We got this motherfucker over here called. We got this gun. Shoots 5 fucking shots. Okay, here's what we want to do. The Sikhs, right? They're very close to the Muslim trip. They gave them bullet cartridges dipped in pig fat. You know what happened? They rebelled. They wouldn't touch it. So put one brother against the other. He kills you, you wipe him the fuck out. Now it's 4 of us. It's 4 of us. Let it home. Hey, how you like your new authority? Don't you feel a little bit more like an emperor or a king? Huh? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fuck like it. Murdered your brother to make this white boy happy. All the time you think the white boy is helping you. He goes, hmm, boy, you motherfuckers learn, all right? Now, you with the green. Do you really want to split this dollar 4 ways? You're looking at your 25 cents. Damn, that's a long way for being like a paper dollar. My boy going, you know, uh, the guy over there, in the first 4, okay, you whooped him. Now there's 4 of us. You know, the third guy is weak from the war. You know, yeah. There he goes to the next one. Us 3 get together. You take his motherfucking. But they get those 3, they're going on him. Now there's 3 left. And these dumb motherfuckers could not figure out the game that was being played on them. They suffer from that same bullshit that a lot of Indians today suffer from. The need to feel accepted by white people. And you can see how it fucked up that society and why they cannot make the advancement that China is making, but she's putting the world to shame. One of the reasons they can't develop at the speed of China is the caste system. White Indians at the top. White Indians at the top. Mulattoes underneath. The colored underneath them. Who takes care of the soil? The untouchables. Who work in the slaughterhouses? The untouchables. Who, they take lamb. You ever see how they process it? And bathtubs full of urine. You know urine is used in tannery? Yes, it's used in tannery, where you could take your urine and sell it. There's something about the acids. Human piss is used in tannery to create that. And it's because of this caste system that they will never be able to rise as strong or as quickly as India. If you go to India today, you will see fucking poverty and filthy streets that will put any part of Africa to shame, to stink. The river, the Ganges, the holy river, people go and take a bath, and that, you know about that river. Yeah. Uh-huh. And the government is doing what? Very little or nothing to clean up its streets. its program of trying to get rid of that caste system, because that's one of the things that hold Indians down. People feel they can't advance because they're trapped in some bullshit mental illusion of a caste system. Huh? And you can feel the caste system in America where you do business with the Indians. Huh? You walk into that store, if they're lighter than you, put to work the feeling of the force field. How you say, and what's that movie? The Jet, what? Star Wars. We all have that. It's a feeling you have when you walk into a room and you can walk by something like, ooh, some hostile vibes over here. Neither one of you open your mouth, but you can feel it. Eye contact. Sometimes the eye contact, no word. The eye contact. Okay. Well, don't give me no problem. Eye contact. Force field. And the Indians are good at that. And in Canada, one of the reasons they are screwing up their welcome in Canada is they're moving to a building. Apartment come available. They bring in another one of them. And later, another apartment come available. They're bringing one of that kind. Well, it'll get to a point where they got 80% of their people living in that building, and they'll block the other 20% from bringing in any of their people. It's the same with some of the jobs they have. If they own a McDonald's and you're not an Indian, you are not getting a job. If you own a grocery store or a gas station, and if you're not one of them, you're not getting a job wiping a window, cleaning a toilet bowl. Nothing. Hostility. Chinese are the same way. The only job they will give a person that's not Chinese is to drive the truck to a Chinese restaurant and offload the goods and place the goods on the truck. They don't even want to do nasty manual labor. Now, what's coming out of China is something different. They got fucking super, they got super construction crews. They'll put a fucking building up in 10 days. They put a building up in 10 days. And it's because China doesn't have a caste system that they're outdoing everybody. There's no fucking corporations running shit.
I want to thank y'all for tuning in. This is a history lesson with Dan. Real life interview, support. If you want to know where the store at, where you can go shop, chop it up, chill. If you want to do an interview with you, just hit us up, man. Email, social media. All right, man. We checking out, man, for part 2, man.